Woo-ju is just dozing off when he hears someone calling his name. He wakes up to this blinding light and sees a figure. Yup, it's his dad. Dad's like, "Sorry, I worked myself to death." Woo-ju is just standing there, speechless. His dad seems to find it funny or something, lounging like he's got all the time in the world. Woo-ju, freaking out now, is like, "Why all of a sudden? What about me?" His dad literally worked himself to death writing web novels. Then, Dad pulls out a glowing key, like a parting gift, and asks, "Can I settle with this?" In this dream, Dad leaves behind this mysterious key. Suddenly, some ominous figure tells Woo-ju not to worry, saying they'll protect him. We see silhouettes of what look like powerful characters, and they're supposed to be on Woo-ju's side. Woo-ju's totally confused and freaked out, muttering about the Demon King's army. 10 years later. Woo-ju's life doesn't look glamorous at all. He's dealing with overdue utility bills, looks like a real struggle. We see Woo-ju, all grown up now, looking pretty jaded. He gets annoyed by the heaps of debt notices stuck to his door. It's obvious life hasn't been fair to him. He mutters about getting kicked out because he can't pay rent, talking about just how unlucky he is. He crumples all the notices and throws them to the floor. As night falls, Woo-ju watches TV, while slurping a bowl of instant noodles. It's a bunch of infomercials, and on sale this time was an original version of the game, The Another World. Woo-ju's not impressed, he's sick of seeing it. There's one more thing that his dad left him, HVR or Hyper Virtual Reality. And Woo-ju's dad's web novel was the basis for this massively popular game called The Another World. Still, for Woo-ju, it doesn't change the fact that he's broke and can only afford instant noodles for every meal. He knows there's buzz about a limited edition book that came with a special key. He's surprised at how a book can cost as much as a good computer. He suddenly remembers the key around his neck. He recalls his dad's study, packed with his web novels. He heads inside the study to search, thinking about all the novels his dad wrote. He browses through the many books inside. He spots one that looks familiar, hardcover with the same design as the one he saw advertised, but it's a different story called Surviving as the Strongest in the World of the Strongest. He checks out the lock, and recalls it from his childhood. It struck him as overpowered fantasy stuff where the kids can beat up dragons. Now he has this key and wonders if it could solve his financial woes. Determined, he gives it a shot, hoping to change his fortunes, or at least pay the rent. He unlocks the book, half praying, and it opens. Out of nowhere, a glaring light nearly blinds him. The book sits there, open and empty, leaving Woo-ju in shock. The key seems to have disappeared and he's trying to figure out what the deal was with the book, when a holographic pink panel appears on his HVR set, special gift, for Woo-ju. It's like the game's talking to him, encouraging him to press accept. Woo-ju's just scratching his head at this point. Next, a daily quest pops up, telling him to deliver some wyvern eggs. This totally baffles Woo-ju, quests now. He decides to put off finding the key, and do the daily quest so he can earn some money. He's stuck in this low-level life but can't quit cause he needs the money. The system connects him to The Another World, and tells him to get comfy. As he immerses into the game, he tells himself to find out the market value of the key later. Then, a notification about a gift pops up again, and more questions flood his mind, spam or not? We get this surreal landscape as the game begins loading. Woo-ju finds the gift prompt, questioning if he should accept it. Annoyed by the constant notifications, he gives in and accepts it. There's another bright flash of light. Huh! He squints in confusion, trying to grasp what's happening. Suddenly, out pops a woman who looks disoriented and wonders where she is. Woo-ju is in shock. He tries to comprehend her massive black horn, her hair, her golden eyes. No way! He stammers, recognizing her from the game. Woo-ju blurts out her name. Lucia? This causes the Demon King to spin around, astonished that he knows the name of the great Demon King. The game's final boss, who made the heroes struggle till the end. Woo-ju is completely baffled as Lucia was not from this world. She was from a completely different web novel. He's amazed at how detailed the synchronization was. Lucia becomes more curious and demands, "Who are you, and where is this?" She explains she was about to be executed by the heroes. Woo-ju is utterly fascinated, noting speech style was spot on. Woo-ju decides to proceed with his daily quests, but Lucia interrupts him. "No way. Are you God?" she asks, mentioning that she was just about to be killed when he showed up. Woo-ju reasons that since he is the author's child, he probably is a god. So he decides to play along. Lucia tests his authenticity. She asks him what the first words she spoke 30,000 years ago were. She threatens to punish him if she finds out he's faking it. But Woo-ju remembers that this is the line Lucia says every time she introduces herself in the novel. "My magic eyes see everything," Woo-ju says. Lucia drops to the ground believing that she is indeed dead. Wuju reflects on the bizarre reality of their situation. Suddenly, a massive wyvern approaches, its scales glinting ominously. What? Wuju exclaims, as the beast lunges, causing him to freak out, although outwardly his face doesn't show it cause he has the iron mask skin upgrade on. The thought of losing experience and gold, and subsequently being unable to pay his bills, terrifies him. Someone, please save me! He internally pleads while the wyvern's screech pierces the air. Surprisingly, Lucia mocks the wyvern, calling it a mere lizard. Wuju's frustrated thoughts roll. Come on, she still maintains the concept in a crisis. Wuju goes all in. Great Demon King Lucia, I can't deceive someone with magic eyes like you. So yes, as you said, I am God. But he explains that he can't use his power on this world and asks Lucia to help him out. He thinks it's cringe, but in order to survive, Wuju tries to blend into the game's lore, but Lucia flatly refuses, stirring rising panic. Lucia explains how the heroes sealed her power with cunning tricks, lamenting her restrictions while wyverns rage on. Wuju runs away, begging internally for the wyvern to target Lucia, his only survival plan. However, several wyverns close, leaving Wuju to curse his rotten luck. However, Lucia reveals a loophole that the heroes failed to detect. In a swirl of purple lightning, Lucia says she may not be able to use her power but she can bestow it on someone, which was how she created her Hell Legion. She cackles with delight. If you can't use divine power in this world, how about borrowing the power of this demon king? Purple tendrils of energy wrap around him, and Wuju feels a rush powering him up. Oh, what's this? My body feels so light, he observes. He disappears suddenly, leaving the wyvern stumped. Lucia looks up at the sky. Did you go there? Why are you in a place where you can't breathe? Wuju looks around, and freaks out. He seems to be in outer space. He marvels at the experience, and wonders where the wyverns are. He suddenly realizes that he can't breathe. Was the headset malfunctioning? Gasping for breath, he takes a step back. And he is thrust back into Earth facing the wyvern. Lucia greets him excitedly. Wuju struggles to comprehend it. What is this distance of one step? Lucia asks how the power bestowal feels, but the wyvern lets out a bit angry roar. Run! He tells himself, taking a step. He disappears as the wyvern chomps on him. Unable to control his newfound power, Wuju finds himself bouncing between Earth and space, trying to dodge the wyverns. Desperation grips him. He's thrust back into danger, constantly back to space, weaving through hazards. Feeling increasingly frustrated, the game becomes an almost insurmountable struggle. Wuju remembers Lucia mentioned power bestowal, her novel's unique trait. What? No way! He wrestles with disbelief even in the chaos. It finally sinks in that it really was the great demon king, Lucia, and that she was the strongest from another of his dad's novels. Wuju realizes just how bizarrely incompatible this has become. First things first, the strongest in the world of the strongest, where Lucia was from, was one of his dad's intense novels. It's so overpowered that even kids can catch dragons there. He remembers his dad all stressed about it. And if the strongest of the strongest in the novel, Lucia, was here, the power difference between that world and this world was just too big. The power levels are so broken that it's almost laughable. But oddly enough, it all sort of starts making sense to him. Now, he's facing off against these enormous dragons. He calls for Lucia, and she looks super unimpressed. Wuju admits he can't control the power she gave him and asks how to use it right. Lucia's like, do you really need to ask that? Just punch towards the sky so you don't destroy Earth. Wuju remembers some universal rule his dad wrote about, and it clicks. So, he punches the sky, causing this huge bam, but the planet stays intact. Lucia is watching the impact with mild surprise, noting they didn't destroy the solar system and that Wuju's power is like a mid-boss in a regional dungeon. He realizes that the whole habitat got wrecked and wonders about the wyvern eggs were still there. It looks like the eggs are still there, but he only has 7 minutes left for the quest. He decides to dash off to complete the quest, but Lucia is confused about his sudden move. He was about to take a step forward but stops. Wuju asks Lucia if she can remove the power she gave him. She's basically laughing in his face because it's permanent. Wuju didn't know this, so he's like, what? Because of that damn key, now he's stuck with these wild powers. Wuju insists she release the power because he can't move right now. Lucia mocks him and tells him he lacks training, making Wuju lose his temper. We start off at Wyvern Gorge, a place bathed in golden sunlight. It was a serene landscape, right until things went south. Quick flashback, one fateful day, the gorge got absolutely wrecked. Fast forward a week, and nature's starting to bounce back. Flowers blossom, bringing life back to the barren land. Kim Wuju stands dazed among the fresh blooms, taking it all in. He's awestruck by the resurgence. But then, he hears laughter, The wyverns are gone, and the daily quests have become easy. Wuju thinks, these guys are scoring new sneaks, and here I am, just trying to survive. Reflecting on his newfound power, he realizes it's been a rough week since he got Lucia's abilities. He still hasn't moved from the spot, struggling to control the power. A quick flashback to a week ago shows Wuju marveling at the sheer force behind a single step. But he's determined, he won't give up. Cue a montage of Wuju's past hardships, the hunger, the debts, the struggles. His resolve solidifies. He thinks, I am Kim Wuju, the guy who doesn't quit. Wuju decides he needs a strategy. He focuses on controlling his steps. Instead of full acceleration, he aims for calm and composed. He names his tactic, air walk, and tentatively, he finds it easier than he thought. He tests it and realizes he has launched himself into space again. In the spirit of a budding superhero, he refines his technique. He names another move, moonwalk, dragging his feet backward to control his actions. Suddenly, the ground starts to split and crack. He's left wondering why the ground's so fragile. This is ridiculous, he mutters, half laughing. He even jokes about growing wings and flaps his arms. Hold up, he is launched into space again. And then the sheer absurdity hits him, and he lets out a small breath. He realizes even his breath has power, and off he goes into space again. Enter Lucia, in full, sarcastic glory, laughs at him. Airwalk? Moonwalk? There's never been anyone as funny as you in the demon realm. She's amused, making fun of Wuju's techniques. Wuju blames her for his predicament. She's the infamous Demon King, a nightmare for all power novel characters, even causing Wuju's dad to have PTSD. Wuju's dad was so stressed out because he can't remember how to defeat Lucia. But then, determination shines through. He affirms to himself, I am Kim Wuju, the kind meant to wield such power. Lucia's unimpressed. If Wuju has something new, he better show it. As Wuju ponders his situation, he recalls opening that book, because he saw this limited edition item off home shopping. It all started with him accepting the quest and receiving Lucia's powers. His life changed the second Lucia appeared. Wuju's revelation, the reason Lucia is here is him. He needs to find a way to lift this curse. Pushing Lucia for more answers, he asks if this power could fade. Lucia assures him, it's permanent. But then there's this sneaky thought, what if she dies? Wuju lets Lucia think he's contemplating actions, but he has a plan. No choice but to. He starts. He's still piecing together his thoughts while Lucia keeps taunting. Confronting Lucia, he demands she understand the situation. A sudden fiery determination engulfs Wuju. He's ready to leave regret behind and take action. He tells Lucia he'll soon put an end to their conflict, but Lucia's intrigued rather than scared. She's caught between amusement and curiosity. Wuju, back in his room, sits with a sense of resolve. Holding on to that key, he's ready to tackle his curse head-on. Why did this necklace come back? He questions, but it's his second chance. He races to his dad's study, ready to find another original work to finish off Lucia once and for all. Alright, so Wuju dashes through the library like a man on a mission. He's decided he needs to summon a new, super strong character to take down Lucia. But what kind of genre will work best? Which hero? Wuju is sprinting down the aisles, his eyes scanning the spines of countless books. He's thinking about the best of the best. This is a crisis, after all, no time to hesitate, or he'd end up jobless. Not this either. Wuju mutters as he dismisses book after book, before finally grabbing one that catches his eye. I can find the one who will be Lucia's nemesis. A world's strongest who can be controlled, not just some man, he thinks. Suddenly, something clicks. Wuju's stunned expression says it all. This is it. It's dangerous, but there's no choice. He decides. It's a do-or-die situation. He knows he can't afford to mess this up. Just then, he receives a system alert. Kim Wuju has received a gift. A special one. Press the accept button, says the notification. Wuju hesitates, but finally goes for it. Next thing you know, he's in the Bipidol snowfield, a desolate, snowy wasteland with howling winds. Perfect, he thinks, adjusting to the cold and ready for action. Zero appears, intense, shirtless, and evil-looking. The timing's easier to understand than Lucia's. Wuju can see Zero's potential by observing the killer ranking on his shoulder. Zero is revealed to be from his dad's powerful Munchkin web novel. The narrative describes his insane agility, fast enough to kill billions in the blink of an eye. But Wuju knows summoning Zero is risky, yet inevitable if he wants to defeat Lucia. Lucia's taunting laugh echoes in Wuju's mind, pushing him to the edge. He's determined. Even in his training days, Zero was emotionless, a pure killing machine. Yeah, that's what I'm aiming for, Wuju confirms to himself. He opens the item box and grabs that special item that will make Zero his ally. He thinks about matching Zero with suitable clothes. Turns out dressing a killer can be quirky. Zero puts on the clothes Wuju offers and starts to adjust. Wuju shows a hint of compassion, calling him a poor thing, and hoping the clothes help him feel warm. Imagine that, Wuju offering comfort. But he's on a mission, so he stays focused. Once Zero feels the warmth of the clothes, Wuju tells him to come closer, explaining he doesn't want to risk harming Zero if he moves too quickly. Wuju connects with Zero, channeling memories and warmth, just like the female researcher Laura did when she freed Zero. This bond brings out a gentler side in Zero, even during fierce battles. Wuju gives Zero a pair of gloves, symbolizing his promise to be Laura for him. Zero feels overwhelmed, a mix of confusion and new emotions. As a reward for your suffering in the training camp, Wuju says, recalling how Laura's kindness transformed Zero. The story's original trajectory is altered. Wuju contemplates whether this new path will lead to bright futures and strong allies. The moment Wuju decides to take action, he finds himself tangled in a mess caused by his own choices. But just when you decided to live, you got caught up in this devilish development. Suddenly, Zero appears and embraces Wuju. The scene is serene, but the soft "oh" leaves Wuju uncertain of what lies ahead. He knows he's a prime target, realizing, "I'm definitely the number one person to kill." Zero's feelings are notably ambiguous, given his lack of gender awareness, but they resonate with Wuju's own thoughts. Despite the chilling cold, Wuju assures Zero, "This scarf won't let you feel cold anymore." Zero's face lights up with a mix of surprise and relief, enthusiastically shouting, "Yes!" Then, Wuju remembers the title of this deadly novel his dad wrote. It's all about assassins, themes of love mixed with danger. "The killers still love today," is revealed, set against a picturesque backdrop. Yep, it's a romance killer novel, of all things. Confident, Wuju feels he might have succeeded in his task. But uncertainty nags at him. "My conscience is bothering me a bit." He recalls a fleeting imprinting effect, thinking wryly. Like a baby duck recognizing the first thing it sees as its parent. But soon remarks it will wear off, not fretting much. For now, Zero must remain obedient. Wuju reflects on his struggle, cursing. "Because of that damn X key, I haven't been able to complete the daily quest for a week." Wuju refers Zero to his name, making sure he's on board. Zero agrees, and Wuju remarks, "Good, it went as planned." But a daunting problem remains. The killer grade is still at level 2, and Wuju needs Zero to be at least level 3 to capture Lucia. He realizes a trial is necessary to level up. Mysterious, hulking snow rabbits suddenly surround them, their eyes glowing menacingly. Wuju exclaims in shock. "Snow rabbits! Horde incoming! It's getting real intense." Panic sets in. Wuju yells out, "Emergency! We're screwed!" But Zero appears eerily calm, confusing Wuju. Zero's laughter rings out, breaking the tension. He feels stronger, the power surging within. Wuju finds Zero's reaction annoying but recognizes its necessity. Suddenly, Lucia's maniacal grin looms over Wuju. Wuju steps up, ready to flaunt his power. "Watch closely," Wuju warns, as he prepares to unleash power. Wuju swings his fist towards the sky, creating a massive shockwave that shakes the ground beneath. Wuju questions why these creatures would hide underground. Bewildered, Wuju thinks aloud. "Did my power give them a hint?" Zero appears vulnerable at this moment. Wuju realizes he cannot attack underground and wonders if Lucia's power includes defense. Zero releases a wave of energy, catching Wuju off guard. Zero, laughing manically, gets upset when some snow splashes on his clothes. He starts to awaken. He looks at his scarf that got stained. Zero feels his awakening happen abruptly, his power level now visible. His stars quickly fill up. The true awakening commences, revealing a fearsome, radiant form. "Whoa! I am going to die!" shouts Wuju as rabbits close in. The burst of energy slices through the snow rabbits with astounding precision, completing the move titled 100 trillion cuts. Wuju, perching on what is left of Bipidol, looks around in shock and awe. He comprehends. "Oh, so this is the effect of a 5-star ultimate skill." Suddenly, he pauses, realization dawning on him. Killer Zero used all his stars. An alarming thought strikes. Wuju notes the implications. Expending all stars leaves Zero defenseless. He urgently points. "Zero, your shoulder!" Zero's carefree smile deeply disturbs Wuju. Wuju, realizing they need Zero at 3 stars to capture Lucia, starts to dread their chances. Facing a daunting question as their final hope, Wuju thinks grimly. How will we catch her now? While later at the northern ravine area, specifically the Bipidol snowfield, it's cold, windy, and Zero sits on top of what remains of the snowfield. He's got a cold look on his face, clearly deep in thought. He remembers Wuju's words to him. He feels pretty useless, a 0-star newbie in this world. Wuju reminds him that he's facing the great demon King Lucia, and that isn't exactly a confidence booster. Up till now, Wuju can't seem to figure out how Zero could pull off such a 5-star move like 100 trillion cuts. Wuju thinks hard, maybe there was a shortcut or a hidden method that wasn't in the original game's storyline. A full read-through of the web novel seems to be his only answer at this point. He tells Zero to wait, promising to return with answers. Now sitting alone on that icy pillar, Zero waits as the snow swirls around him. He has his special scarf, but he's still freezing. Suddenly, Zero's keen senses pick up on something. Ice bats. They fly around menacingly, not exactly the welcoming party you'd hope for. Zero is not about to let some E-grade bats bother him. He gets ready to show them why he's the best. As the bats close in, an absurd thought enters Zero's mind: what if these bats are out to steal my clothes? He imagines the bats becoming Wuju's new favorite in his clothes, and a switch flicks on. Zero launches his wire attack and kills the bats. Back in his cluttered study room, Wuju's not having much luck with his research. The one key method to boosting Zero's power quickly just isn't in any of his books. Frustrated, he thinks about the multiple times he's gone through these books. They should have all the answers. Wuju's getting desperate. At this rate, I won't clear the daily quests and I'll starve. He mutters, almost humorously. His stomach growls, agreeing with him. Maybe some instant noodles would help clear his mind. He considers getting up. At a local convenience store, a group of other players are chatting about the Bipidol snowfield. Turns out, it's a no-access area and people are super annoyed. Some even died trying to get there. One of them remarks that they have no one to buy nicotine for them. Just then, Kim Wuju walks by. The girls gossip about his reputation as the shuttle specialist who will do anything for spare change. One of them admits he's tall and kinda decent looking. But another one laughs that he's just got this weird personality. The girls call out to him, basically asking him to buy some cigarettes for them. Wuju notices one of the girls. He's surprised that Lee Suki is there, but Suki shuts him down and tells him to mind his own business. Wuju tells her to return his dad's books she borrowed. The other two are surprised that they know each other and start to gossip. Wuju glances at the girl's phone and notices the news. Then, an unexpected noise interrupts everything. A delivery biker crashes onto the scene, and Wuju pulls the blonde girl out of the way. The biker doesn't stop and the dark-haired girl cusses him out. Everyone's just yelling. What just happened? The blonde girl seems taken aback, experiencing something strange. There's more depth to Wuju than she initially thought. She realizes he's not just some errand boy. And now, the rose-colored glasses are on as she thinks how freaking cool Wuju is. The article mentions setting materials and a place with information that couldn't be covered in the original artwork. He seems to be piecing together a puzzle. The dark-haired girl demands Suki introduce them to Wuju, but she shuts them down. Wuju says something about the demon king Lucia and Suki perks up. At the mention of the author Andromeda, her eyes widen. What initial setting materials? Are you talking about the ultimate villain, great demon king Lucia? She blurts out. Wuju mentions that Suki was a fan of his dad's, so she should know this. He starts muttering that the awakening of Zero might be found in some unpublished work. Suki grits her teeth at hearing all of this. Suki yells out, adamantly rejecting the idea of any unpublished materials because she's already checked everywhere. Kim Wuju stands firm, arguing with Suki. No, it exists, he declares with conviction in the middle of a heated discussion. Memories begin to flood his mind, taking him back to a place he really despises. He remembers his father, often too absorbed in his work to spend time with him, leaving young Wuju longing for days that never came. It was in his father's study desk where he would find the initial setting material. Back in the present, things are escalating quickly. Wuju tries to shake off the memories and focus. He rushes out, claiming he has important matters to attend to. Suki, left behind, seems incredulous at the idea, muttering how she's never heard or seen such things. But if those unpublished settings are indeed true, she muses, she needs to see them for herself. She's got a call on her phone. Speak, she commands sternly. On the other end, a voice confirms. Yes, Suki, it's Jason. The coordinates are set to Wyvern Gorge, signaling the beginning of something big. The plan is clear, eliminate the insidious presence lurking there. Suki, silent and contemplative, gears up for what's next. The scene shifts dramatically to the icy landscape Zero currently faces. He's just eliminated the last of the bats. He's stranded on a pillar in the Bipidol snowfield, shivering and struggling to devise his next move. His body, battered and cold, reflects his mounting despair. The words of his handler at the training facility haunt him. He remembers his harsh punishments when he failed. His mind wanders darkly to thoughts that useless things are discarded. Zero shouts in agony at this memory. Wuju's words insinuate come back to him, saying he's completely useless right now. Wuju's eyes reflect his diminishing spirit. Suddenly, new threats appear overhead. It's an outsourced bunch of security guys called Team Griffin. They're puzzled by the disturbing remnants of Bipidol Snowfield. They're surprised that Zero's player info window wasn't showing. Suspicious, they single out Zero and decide to eliminate him. "I'll eliminate it for now," calls the leader as they prepare their Griffin cannon, aiming directly at Zero. The leader checks and there are no signs of life. But Zero withstands the blast and has his wire around him. The team is taken aback. No way could he have survived that. Despite the attack, they prepare another shot, not ready to give up so easily. Zero is hit squarely in the back and coughs out blood. It looks like the magic cannon delivered the final blow, and Zero falls downward into the chasm. "We'll start a full investigation," signals the team, assuming victory. Zero is barely clinging on to life. But Wuju's voice echoes in his head. "Wait here, I'll be back soon," triggering his memories. His eyes snap open, adrenaline kicking in. As if possessed, Zero channels a newfound energy, as he grabs hold of the pillar to stop his fall. "Is it some kind of undead species?" ponders a voice from the Griffin team, underestimating the sheer willpower driving Zero as he climbs his way up. They launch another barrage of attacks, but Zero keeps on climbing with a tenacity that refuses to die. Through blurred vision, he sees flashes of his past, propelling him forward. The Griffin cannon fires relentlessly, but Zero uses every ounce of strength to persevere and climb. In a near-delirious state, Zero remembers a warm presence, one that brings a fleeting moment of comfort amidst the chaos. He fights on, feeling his strength ebb and flow. "Persistent bastard!" one Griffin member curses, readying another attack. Zero is at his limit, every part of him screaming to stop, yet he pushes forward. "Zero, wait! This is too close!" Another memory echoes within him. His past and present blur together. He must push on, every step a defiance against his fate. Zero's mind races as he feels the warmth of the premium scarf around his neck. "I'll say it again, this is a premium item," Wuju told him. It's warm and cozy, an unexpected source of comfort in this frigid environment. Promising to never let him get cold again, the reassurance echoes in Zero's mind as he feels a surge of determination. Zero's finally used up all his strength. And he lets go. From out of nowhere, Wuju appears and grabs his hand, preventing Zero from falling into the abyss below. "Are you an idiot?" Wuju gently scolds. "If it's really that dangerous, just avoid it for a while. Don't just stand there and get hit because I told you to wait." Wuju's face comes into focus. Zero is torn between exhaustion and the willpower to keep going. His body feels heavy, but he's still managing to hang in there. Wuju gives him a little encouragement, pointing out that he has been patiently waiting all this time. "Good job," Wuju says, eliciting a visceral cry from Zero. Unexpectedly, light energy begins to surge through Wuju's body, illuminating symbols on his arm. Wuju's pleased that Zero's now back to 2-star charge. "Don't worry, I have more clothes," Wuju tells him. But now, it's time to tackle the problems at hand. Wuju understands the complexity of dealing with Team Griffin. It's an outsourced company, but handling them could be dangerous considering their direct affiliation with high-level management. Even so, Wuju is livid and not ready to show leniency. "I don't care about that," he mutters bitterly. From afar, Team Griffin watches and wonders about the player attacking them. Zero contemplates sending the information back to the org, but he knows that's risky too. Instead, he has an audacious plan involving Griffin's own magic cannon. Using it might help Wuju avoid a player kill. Wuju steadies himself. He knows things are about to get real. Suddenly, he does a little twirl. The next moment, a mesmerizing spiral of energy encapsulates Wuju. The spiral continues outward, even beyond the earth. Seeing the swirl of cosmic magic, Lucia chuckles. "You're a funny one." She's watching from Wyvern Gorge. "Your power is weak, but you make a lot of noise." As the tension spikes, she smiles approvingly. "Well, you did well. You brought a useful subordinate." Her eyes filled with an unsettling gleam. She reveals her capabilities using her evil eye, which even Wuju's father feared. Back in Bipidol, Wuju materializes some items from his inventory and replaces Zero's clothes with new ones. But Lucia warns them of her formidable Demon King's army. She claims they're ready to conquer another world. Just then, a flash of red energy disrupts the scene. With unwavering boldness, a new character steps into the fray, declaring their arrival. This person, radiating fierce determination and energy, confirms the insidious nature of Lucia, ready to eliminate the threat immediately. So here's the scoop. The author of the book called The Another World was this guy called Enro. He had many other numerous web novel hits, and due to his overwhelming worldview and scale, had to make a few hard and fast rules. First rule, ground attacks? Absolutely off limits. Second rule, nature that is destroyed is gradually restored, and this game, The Another World, was no exception. Wuju and Zero are on the icy platform as Bipidol snowfield slowly regenerates around them. Wuju marvels at the game's incredible recovery mechanics. Introspection sets in, envisioning the vast realm of the game universe. His immense power, a hindrance rather than a help, keeps him from clearing daily quests. It's basically a curse. But then, aha! Wuju recalls a slip of the tongue from Lucia. Turns out, if she dies, his curse might be broken. Kim Wuju checks in with Zero. You ready for this? Zero grunts happily. Wuju reasons, a direct attack might fail, but an assassination? Now that could work. He remembers that in Zero's novel, there was a plot to kill an immortal boss. Zero sneaks into his lair. The boss, unfazed, declares his immortality, but then, surprise, something shakes him. Boom! A 3-star skill gets activated by Zero, targeting the boss fiercely. This isn't just any skill, it delivers death not just of the body but of the soul. It's called permadeath. And yup, Lucia's in their crosshairs for this move. Yet there's a snag. Zero needs to boost from 2-star to 3-star skills charge. But Wuju found a trick in his dad's study, it's called Rage. When Laura got hurt, Zero went berserk. Rage is the trigger. Thing is, Zero's too cheerful at the moment, just whistling away. So Wuju's gotta find a way to stoke that anger. He goes all stern coach mode, questioning Zero's focus. And Zero, poor guy, tries to smile through it. But Wuju's like, nah, you need to push harder, get mad. But Zero only replies, smile. He wants Zero to feel that fury boiling over. Yet Zero's confused, struggling to get angry. Wuju brings out the emotional big guns, pushing him over the edge with some tough love. Trying different tactics to edge Zero into that rage state. Wuju wonders maybe because of that scarf gesture. Wuju's worried it's collapsing Zero's killer instinct. Alright, final prep. Wuju bets Zero's scarf in this assassination attempt. Zero's all flustered and finally looking all worried. Now he's understanding the gravity of their mission, and everything is falling into place. As Zero starts to emanate this fierce, red aura, he finally transforms. It's a full-on rage mode. He's charged up to the max. Ready for battle mentally and physically thanks to Wuju's pep talk. They hone in on their target, Lucia. Then, with a swift move, they get transported to Wyvern Gorge. Kim Wuju and Zero touch down on the rocky terrain of Wyvern Gorge. This is the Wyvern Gorge without wyverns. Lucia will be lurking around here, Wuju notes. Suddenly, a figure catches Wuju's eye. It's Lucia, but there's something wrong? I'm opposed to violence, Lucia shouts out, as this guy holds her by the neck. Why are you getting beaten? Wuju blurts out. Huh! The stranger responds, clearly confused and startled, giving a side eye of disbelief. Zero springs into action, launching himself towards the combatant, but instead of a straightforward fight, Zero ends up knocking the stranger down, channeling some serious strength. It's chaos, with energy crackling and bright, sharp lines etching the air. What are you doing? Shouts the knight. This is an obvious PK. Wuju tells Zero to stop cause he was attacking the wrong target. He notices that the knight's armor didn't take any damage. The voice is calm, but loaded with authority. The unidentified knight seems unharmed but ready to strike. Why are you interfering with my work? Demands the knight in golden armor. He looks towards the fallen Lucia, who's gritting through the pain. Disruptive presence. Totally agree. Wuju reflects, feeling disoriented. The knight asks what his intentions were. This can be seen as a PK attempt, declares the knight. Wuju's mind is racing, trying to piece it all together. His advice to Zero echoes in his ear, urging him to use hit-and-run tactics. Wuju realizes that with Zero moving so fast, it looked like he was the one attacking the knight. Lucia tries to stir up more trouble, implying Wuju wanted to conquer this world, and that he was a demon lord. Wuju can't make heads or tails of her dialogue. What is she even saying? Every single word is nonsense. Maybe she got hit in the head? Now the tables have turned, Lucia grins crazily. That guy even calls himself God. Flashback to their conversation a week ago. Really a god? Assuming I'm a god, I have to go clear this quest. Wuju casually retorts. Is she boasting? He wonders. Lucia, you're really done for. Just die. Wuju states coldly in his mind. But then, the Wuju interrupts, trying to explain that he was aiming for the demon, not him. Wuju cheers on the knight for support. But despite Wuju's explanations, the knight isn't backing down. Suddenly the knight remembers that he suddenly started attacking without introducing himself. "You know this game is based on an original work, right?" he shouts mid-attack. Jason Poulter of Just One, the security company, stands there like he's some big shot, explaining that he was the holder of a limited edition key. Wuju tries to remember where he's heard Just One before. "Isn't that a famous security company?" He's recalling articles about the rankers who took on high-risk quests. They've earned a fortune in this game, no surprise there. Just One was a personal security company. Suddenly it clicks, he's dealing with a top-tier executive who's misunderstood the whole narrative from the start. But now Jason Poulter is angry that Wuju was unfazed by his name drop. But Wuju is actually very terrified. He just has his iron mask skin equipped. Jason promises a beating. "A ranker attacking a nobody like me, really?" Wuju recounts in disbelief. His head spins with bewilderment, realizing how skewed his reality's become. He can't even use the power Lucia gave him. If he kills a fellow player, he'll end up being hunted. He thinks about Zero. He follows orders well, so he'll stay hidden. Lucia just needs to be killed. Is this really the end for us? Wuju speculates. He thinks about the cup of ramen he couldn't eat. Jason throws a massive punch. "What? Did I dodge that punch?" Wuju is left pondering. It feels like he's floating. Did he die? Was he now a soul? Getting cocky after dodging once? Jason suddenly pops up beside him, aiming another punch his way. Wuju's surprised that he dodged this one too. Suddenly he spots a thin silver thread. It's Zero's wire manipulating through, proving invaluable. His thin, taut threads wrap around Wuju's frame like a lifeline. Wire marionette technique, used when rescuing hostages, was being used on him. How is this guy dodging again? Jason's getting more and more mad. Kim Wuju tries to engage and says, "Hey there, ranker." But Jason just yells back. "Shut up!" Wuju wants to talk, but no one's in the mood for chit-chat. "Isn't this clearly PK?" And pushes the other guy to think about if catching someone like him is worth it. Like really worth the career damage? Meanwhile, Golden Armor Dude, Jason Poulter, is confused and annoyed. Okay, now it's getting real. Jason tells him that it's now a one-on-one battle. "You attacked first, I responded, no complaints, right?" Wuju's like, "Huh." You can see him piecing it together. Then he says, "Then if I kill you, it's legal?" Jason's like, "Yeah, you jerk. This is a one-on-one battle showdown rule." Wuju is oddly relieved by the legality. Then Wuju realizes he didn't know about the one-on-one rule because he's only been clearing daily quests. Lucia, watching all this, calls him a slowpoke lackey but waits for the activation of something mighty. Wuju's not messing around anymore. "Yeah, let's do it." And boom, his power's unleashed. Jason slams his fist down. It's a proper spectacle. At the same time, Wuju punches Jason back with overwhelming force. The sheer power from Wuju is just off the charts. Lights, beams, the whole works. "Hold on tight," Wuju mutters. "Let's go on a space tour." Wuju's punch emits an energy so insane that even the planet looks like it's feeling it. Jason marvels at Wuju's incredible strength. But here's the kicker, it didn't even deal him a speck of damage. Wuju is shocked. He blames Lucia's power. It faded too fast, like coffee cooling under an office AC. Who would even want this kind of power? Wuju questions. Someone's really messing with my life. I won't let you go, Lucy, huh? Wuju sees Zero and he's surprised that Zero's cheering him on beside Lucia. Jason, hulking over him, asks, "What's wrong? Are you shocked your attack didn't land?" Jason taunts. He's got Wuju in a knockout grip. "You're trying really hard to play cool, acting like you're not surprised." "My expression? That's the iron mask skin sold in the store," Wuju tells him. It's keeping his face plain as a stone. "What? Did he misunderstand me because of this damn mask?" Wuju's mix of regret and panic is almost funny. "I don't care. I'll just crush that face of yours," Jason declares. Wuju's thinking. Peeling someone's face skin off, that's a little gross, dude. What was the penalty for this fight again? He racks his memory for that critical detail. The battle showdown comes with brutal stakes. Oh, so that's the twist, Wuju thinks. It's a character deletion match. As long as both sides agree, they can go on a one-on-one match. He recalls. Since it allows a legit player kill, it also requires a significant bet like the guts to delete your character. There's a draw option too, he realizes, but that's no comfort. I don't have the time to make a new character from scratch. Wuju has no choice, victory or bust. He has to secure this win. He lifts his finger to stop the punch. With Zero's help, Jason's punch is neutralized in an instant. He freaks out and steps back. Normally, other players can't interfere in these matches, but Zero's from another dimension and an exception to the rule. Wuju decides he'll use Zero for defense and deal the damage himself. He gears up for a follow-up hit. This time, I'll hold back a bit, he thinks. But can he handle even that? Wuju slams into his enemy again, not going full force, but it's still enough to rattle Jason. The punch sends Jason flying in a purple electric streak, rocking the entire battlefield. He circles the earth, screaming the whole time. He finally arrives back where he started and he's gobsmacked. What just happened? Jason's trying to catch up. Did he really just loop around the planet? Jason's mind spins. Your attack power is insane. As I thought, my hits aren't fully effective. Wuju declares. Jason expresses surprise. You have no idea about my abilities? This guy was even on a game ad banner, for Pete's sake. Wuju shrugs. Not a fan. You aren't into rankings with power like that? Jason persists. Oh, I get it. Jason smirks. He's seen this attitude before. You thought with this much power, you could just take it easy and wing it? Jason's words burn Wuju's thoughts. Taken aback, Wuju feels exposed. Like Jason can read his mind, picking apart every weakness. Jason calls out Wuju's inferiority complex, painting him as someone who gets all excited and then makes mistakes by overthinking things. Wuju's sweat trickles down. What? Don't hit me where it hurts all of a sudden. Wuju tears up with frustration. It's too on point, I'm not even upset. Well, fine, I'll remind you again. Jason remarks, confident that it won't affect the outcome anyway. Vision. Jason calls out. A number 0 lights up over his head. You know this mode, right? The one where damage is shown in numbers. Jason gloats. Yeah, an expensive item. Wuju hesitates. Go ahead and hit me again. I'll only feel good when your spirit's broken. Jason cuts deep with an evil grin. He gets punched before he could finish his gloating. Wuju's attack swells into a massive explosion of energy that sends light and sound waves even beyond the earth. Jason endures the hit but shows only a minimal damage of -1. Wuju, puzzled, mutters, The damage is just 1. Jason laughs, explaining, Any type of attack only does 1 damage. This is one of his limited edition Key's abilities, allowing him to take only 1 damage point no matter what kind of attack. Jason brags about becoming a top ranker thanks to this ability, boasting his HP 120,000. He mocks Wuju, daring him to see which will faster, Jason's HP being depleted or Wuju dying. Wuju pokes him, each poke causing just 1 point of damage. Jason unleashes a flurry of attacks and each time, Wuju counters with poke. Lucia calls this just 1 damage ability absolutely pathetic. She tells Wuju he just needs to keep hitting till Jason dies. She gives Wuju a mighty cheer to boost his morale. Zero chimes in too. Wuju wonders why those two keep sticking together when they're supposed to be enemies. Wuju confirms that Jason's ability really does deal only 1 damage point no matter what attack. His eyes shine bright like diamonds, realizing that even a light tap can deal damage. Wuju mentions a boss in another novel, Colossa, who wore a golden armor that regenerated 1 HP every 0.001 seconds. Jason's eyes widen in surprise at the mention of golden armor. Yet, Wuju claims to already know the counter Jason's ability. He calls out Zero's name, switching to attack mode. Zero springs into action. It's a special move that consumes 2 stars of Zero's killer power, called Midsummer Rain. A flurry of energy beams rains down on Jason, each dealing 1 damage. Wuju explains its purpose of scattering mana into the wires spread around. Jason looks up in surprise. Jason, surrounded and overwhelmed by multiple hits, yells out in frustration. He realizes that the attack also has a knockback effect and he can't get close to Wuju. Wuju continues his attack, noting that the technique hits 1,000 times per minute, giving them roughly 10 minutes until the match is over. Jason sarcastically states that he's got 10 minutes to figure out a counter, then inquires more about the golden armor. Wuju tells him it's an item from another work of the game's creator Enro. He recalls how they managed to defeat the boss with an ultimate move called Midsummer Night's Winter Rain. But why are you so interested in the golden armor? Wuju questions, asking if Jason is a fan of the creator. Jason denies it, saying he just knows someone who can create such legendary items, and that's the reason he can never lose. Wuju is taken aback by this claim, while Jason roars in victory. Suddenly, Jason reveals the truth. He's wearing the golden armor. Wuju, in shock, mutters, "Wha?" Back in his apartment in the real world, Wuju demands, "What are you talking about? Are you saying my dad reused a concept from Colossa in this game?" Wuju whispers to himself. He's in disbelief. Such blatant plagiarism, Dad. So, Wuju starts thinking about his dad's last project, the Another World. He realizes, man, I never read the original work of this game. And bam! It hits him. My dad's final posthumous work. Turns out his old man overworked himself to death to get this game done. Wuju's totally in his feels, thinking this game took his dad away. But what really throws him is the idea of his dad recycling game concepts. Cut to Jason, yelling at Wuju. Hey you, the one with the inferiority complex. He taunts. Dude's mocking Wuju about the golden armor, admits he's the one wearing it. Then, in a burst of arrogance, he boasts. Do I have to show you directly for you to understand? He unveils a move called Double Vision, and it shows that his HP actually starts increasing. Yeah, he rubs it in. See my health increasing? This is the special ability of the golden armor. It recovers HP super fast. Jason's feeling invincible, basically nothing can touch him. The armor, coupled with his ability to reduce damage to 1 point per hit, makes him a beast. Jason, looking overly smug, asks Wuju. So, what do you think? Do you still want to try? Wuju's looking a bit determined, even the chaos around him can't shake his focus. Suddenly, he gets an email notification. It's from Suke. Wuju quickly reads Suke's email. Just then he spots something else. He has like a million unread emails. The gears start turning in his head. He deduces, this attack is indeed a waste. He orders Zero to stop. That's enough. The match has been decided, he declares. Jason keeps pushing. Are you saying that you've tried everything? Wuju's like, yup. Feels pointless now. Lucia chimes in with a smirk, calling Wuju a slowpoke. She's oddly encouraging, saying Wuju's finally headed in the right direction. Wuju stares hard, determined. His thoughts loud and clear. I'll end this match with one hit. Meanwhile, Jason, in his gnarly golden armor, taunts Wuju that he is very nearly invincible, and he has no chance against him. Why haven't you acknowledged it yet? Jason sneers. Wuju signals Zero to stop his attacks. The showdown is over, Wuju declares seriously. Zero is surprised but complies. The rain of mana slows down to a stop. Jason wonders why the attacks have stopped. Why? Will you not attack anymore? Wuju calmly replies. Yes. I think multiple attacks by themselves are meaningless now. Jason reveals the gravity of their battle. Do you think I will go easy on you? But Wuju remains composed. Zero rushes to Lucia in a panic, pointing at Wuju as if asking her to help out. Lucia reassures Zero there's nothing to worry about. His spirit hasn't been broken yet. He actually looks much calmer than before. Wuju then explicitly states, You seem to have a misunderstanding. I concluded that I won. Unlike you, Ranker, I'm willing to show mercy. How about we settle it as a draw now? Jason snaps. Shut up. Stop talking and just die. Jason's full force attack seems unstoppable, but Wuju's decided it's worth the trouble to see it through. He decides it's time to settle things once and for all. He opens his email to unblock an avalanche of spam messages. Opening emails in the middle of a fight? Really? This baffles Jason. Wuju, calmly and with focus, replies, I'm just trying to unblock some spam emails. Then he drops the bomb. Unread emails plus 999. There must be over 1 million spam emails piled up over the past 10 years. Wuju was gonna unblock them all at once. Jason roars. Spam emails don't matter in this situation, as he charges towards Wuju. Wuju remains unfazed, dodging easily. In his moment of clarity, Wuju thinks, there's only one step left now. He lunges forward, clinging onto Jason. Jason's stunned and furious. You vermin, what are you doing now? Only for Wuju to defiantly state. Holding on to you. He tells Jason that the spam will come soon. Jason snarls. What? You keep saying. But Wuju, ever calm, replies coolly. Well, since I've won, let me share some info. He points at his face and reveals. I think we aren't on the same page because of this iron mask. Jason looks puzzled. Actually, it's to cover my real face. Wuju starts recounting. I started the game after my family fell apart, so I made this customization out of anger. So, let me know you what I look like. Jason's expression twists with confusion and anger as he takes a good look at Wuju's face. I called you a loser and vermin, so where is that inferiority complex hiding? Die, you piece of crud! Jason looks away in horror. Arg! What did I just see? My eyes! Lucia gasps in confusion and shock. She's shaking in disbelief. This sudden turn of events. It's too unexpected. I love how ugly your face is, Lucia declares, very excited. It matches the Demon King of Hell perfectly. Oh, she suddenly realizes, blushing a little. Is that guy the Demon King of Hell? Then after 30,000 years, I'm ready for marriage, she concludes. As the spam emails Jason loathed begin to pile in, Wooju feels satisfied. Okay, I've stalled enough time. Jason recovers from the shock. That scared me. I won't let you die easily now. He throws everything into a full power attack. I'll grind you to dust. Excalibur! He shouts. As Jason charges with his Excalibur attack, Wooju watches with a smirk. Spam emails are just starting to come in. Over 1 million spam emails will alarm you at once, so don't be surprised. Jason screams. Why do you care about spam emails when you're about to be deleted? Of course I care. Because I set the notification. Dramatically pausing, Wooju finishes. To vibrate. Jason's eyes widen in disbelief as the screen blares. Emails have arrived. Huh. He barely manages to gasp as the vibrations start. The vibration frequency is 40,000 times per second, explains Wooju. With your body that takes damage even from slight touches, 1 million spam emails mean instant death. Wooju declares that he's gonna name this technique fatal only to Jason, the finishing move, Spam Vibrator Destroyer Bomb. A catastrophic explosion ensues, brought about by the never-ending damage from the vibrations. Jason's HP plummets to an absolute 0 from 120,000. The shockwave of 1 million spam emails causes a momentary ripple across the universe that awakens a dark egg that would bring a great disaster to the game. It also exposes the existence of another solar system inhabited by weird beings. Lucia remarks that even if it was such a BS way to win a fight, it looked pretty cool. Zero, too, is equally impressed. Jason's HP finally reaches 0, and he shatters into 1 million pieces. Wooju lets out a deep breath and asks, Did I win? He suddenly notices something shiny on the ground. Huh! He mutters, leaning forward to get a better look. It's a dropped item. He picks up the golden armor, seeing its stats flash before his eyes. This thing is a game changer, legendary status, insane HP boost, and self-healing capabilities. Jackpot. He knows he needs this for defense. I'll wear it immediately, he concludes. Meanwhile, Lucia and Zero approach to congratulate him. But something stops them in their tracks and stare for a moment. They both roar with laughter. Don't laugh, he says, trying to maintain his composure. But it's clear something's off with the fit. Why isn't it fitting? He exclaims. Stop laughing and help me, Wooju shouts. Lucia calls him the biggest laughingstock of the demon world. Back in the real world, high school bell rings. Inside the student council room, Suki checks her messages. What's this? Now you're ignoring messages? She murmurs, scrolling through. She looks uneasy about what Wooju mentioned about initial setup data. She glances over to her friends lying on beds, connected to a VR setup. She thinks of Wooju, calling him an idiot for clearing daily quests all day. Suddenly, a loud noise makes her jump. It's her phone buzzing. It's Jason. Suka straightens, her face serious. Okay. It's school, so please report quietly, she replies, trying to keep her cool. Jason's next message shakes her. Sorry to inform you, but I was defeated by an unknown entity. What? Suka mutters in disbelief. She feels a sharp pang of panic. You, Jason, she replies, trying to process everything. Just then, one of the girls, Jihai, sits up and removes her headset saying, I can't focus on the game. She blurts out, asking if Suka has known Wooju since they were kids. Then you must know where he lives. Jihai presses on. I'm thinking so much about Kim Wooju right now that I can't focus on the game. She sighs, feeling more stressed by the second. I feel like my heart's going to explode. I can't stand it anymore. Determined, she announces. I'm just going to confess today. She storms out of the room, leaving Suka behind, who's trying to process everything. Your likes help Benza make more juicy content. Go on and hit that bell icon. Peace, send him out.